Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. At this point in time, I've been doing this for approximately 47 years now. When I first started working with people's relationships, with the way their home was going, with the way their business was running, I was only 10 years old. Okay. This said, This is concerning the transformation of your household post COVID-19. This is step two. Now, understand, I'm putting the steps in. I'm calling them step one, step two, whatever, simply so I can keep track of which ones I've done, and to make sure that all of them are getting done. But it doesn't matter what order you make the transformation. The important factor at this point is that when you're looking at your household, you know what you're not content with. Start making changes. It doesn't matter what you change them to, because the way energy works is this. The karmic law is energy out, energy in. Meaning, whatever you put your effort into, that's what you're pushing towards. It doesn't mean you'll automatically get it, but it does at least stack the deck in your favor. So, we're talking about how to take your household from where it is to where you'd like it to be. Now, understand, it really does not matter where it comes from. How you got to where you are is not a critical concern. What is of critical concern and of critical interest is whether or not you're making changes to make your life better, to eliminate the things that you're not content with. Now, those of you that are under the impression that a relationship should be smooth sailing, that would be wonderful. And if you get a relationship like that, for pity's sake, thank whoever you choose to, especially your partner. Okay, but understand that's an extreme rarity. My parents were an extreme example. They only knew each other for about 6 months and were married for 60 years. I would have loved to have been able to pull that off, but in all fairness, my marriage ended after 16. Okay, now, communication is what we're starting with the first little bit here, because that really is the backbone. So, ask yourself this. When was the last time everybody in your household sat down for dinner at the same time? Or at the same table? Modern society seems to have pushed itself to the point of we're always on the go. You got to get out. There's things to be done. We got to have 4 or 5 jobs to work with in the household. 2 or 3 jobs a piece seems to be normal. Prior to COVID-19, this was very much a normal thing. People got so caught up in it that they were all looking at, and the majority of people were looking at the bottom line going, I need this much money because I want all these newfangled things. Well, here's the funny part about that. You've been through that. Now, let me ask you, did that really have as big an effect as you would have liked? Did having all that stuff prepare you for what you're going through right now? Now, granted, technology has some advantages. Okay, I couldn't be doing what I'm doing right here, right now, if it weren't for technology. And we'll get back to some of that a little later. But the dinner table used to be the place where everybody gathered to find out how everybody's day was going on. It locked the family, the household, into a solid unit. Everybody knew where the others were standing. If you're not already doing it, try something really weird. Okay. Shut off your phones, shut off the TV, shut off the radio, sit down for dinner together. Now, whether it's dinner, whether it's breakfast, whether it's lunch, one meal a day where you all sit down and have it together. I know that's going to be really weird, sitting across with all the pixels in front of you and looking at your other half. Now, of course, with COVID-19 right now, there are many families, unfortunately, that the only way they can see each other is by video. Put it to use. If you've got a loved one that is somewhere else, if you can arrange a video connection, whether it is through any one of the video programs, I do not speak for any one of them and say this is the best. I am not technologically, adept, really. And one of these days I'll stop telling myself that, and maybe that'll change. But in the meantime, pick one meal a day. That's not a lot to ask, especially since people are stuck at home right now. They can't get out of the house to speak of. So sit down for one meal a day and talk about what your day has been. If it's breakfast, talk about what you're planning on doing for the day. If it's lunch, talk about what you've already gone through and what you're planning for the rest of the day. And if it's supper that you sat down for, then talk about what went on. Okay, but let everybody have a say. Now, granted, if you're dealing with a toddler still in a high chair, the odds are all they're going to do is giggle and coo, or maybe cry about not having the right banana. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had one that young. And I must make a definitive apology. My last video, I mentioned I have a 14-year-old son. Well, this is absolutely categorically wrong. But the problem is he only turned 15 a couple of weeks ago. So he is in actuality 15. Doesn't change much of anything else, but I did want to put that straight. Now, pick a meal to sit down and have a meal with the whole family, with the whole household, without the phone, without the TV on, okay, without the radio. It will not hurt for the hour to hour and a half to just have each other to talk to and to look at. Who knows, you may find that you like them more than what you thought you did. Yeah, it is possible you'll find you don't like them as much as you thought you did, and that can create problems too, but let's work with the positive side, shall we? By talking about what you're feeling, about what's going on, and as I said in the last video, very important factor, if something comes up that's going to lead to an argument or it's starting to lead to an argument, cut that conversation short. The dinner table is not where to have an argument at all. Okay, certainly have discussions, talk about what's going on. Okay, talk about what you'd like to see happen. Okay, little projects that are going on. You'd be amazed at what your munchkins might be up to in the way of positive things, especially if you start engaging with them. Okay, now the nice part about the dinner table, okay, is it is amazing. If you're around my age, you will likely remember sitting around the dinner table with all sorts of things going on, all sorts of conversations going back and forth. Right, I heard it said one day, I knew a chap that told me one day he himself could speak, and he went to a dinner with his girlfriend at the time. She was deaf as a stone. No offense intended, but as he pointed out, he sat at the table with her family, and he said, "I have never seen so much talking going on between people without a sound." He said it was a bizarre feeling, but it was really enjoyable. Now, I'm not suggesting sign language works for everybody, but it may be something to think about. And I mean the polite sign language, not the slang stuff. Okay. It's one of those things that you can actually work with. And it is something, especially if you've got time right now, learning how to communicate via sign language is an interesting it's an interesting language. It's not useful for many things, but once in a while you'll run into somebody that is deaf that you'll be able to speak to. Yeah, I talk with my hands all the time, and no, this is not standard sign language. This is simply because of the fact it makes less noise than keys. Talk about the things you've got, the dreams you have. Do you have a goal that you would like to accomplish, a new skill that you'd like to learn? Okay, in my case, I've got something that I am working on. I've always got a pen. Let me show you something here. Okay, now, when we're talking about things you'd like to do, now, this is not going to come out as well as I would like. Okay, as you can see, that's normal writing, not good handwriting. I am a writer. I am a published author. But one of the things that I am teaching myself now, on December 28th of 2018, I had a massive stroke that left me unable to speak and bedridden. It also wiped out my left side, left me unable to walk. Okay, however, I am teaching myself, or reteaching myself, is more to the point. I'm reteaching myself how to write again. Now, you'll notice something really funny about this. And it used to be a question, and the reason I'm reteaching myself is because I actually used to write better with my left hand than I do with my right hand. Funny part about it is if you look, now you'll notice the top is written one direction. That's my right hand. My left hand I use to write the bottom one. Now, I am working on getting my writing back. I used to write at full speed with my left hand. Right now, I cannot. And you'll notice the left hand is choppy. Now, the neat part is this. This is just one of those little goals that I personally have. I'm not suggesting you necessarily learn how to write mirror image. But think about the things you'd like to be doing or the skills that you'd like to have. Maybe you'd like to get into some form of creative work, right? Be it writing, be it scrapbooking, okay, maybe painting. See, if you look over my shoulder here, and maybe the next video I'll get up and actually or bring a couple over. But over on my shelf here, I'm pointing at a bunch of little figures that I've got. Now, I've got them over there. I've got more up on top of my filing cabinet over there that are already painted. This is just another one of those things that I've now got the time to sit down and work with. Okay. And these are things that I talk to my son about. I'm living at home. I'm living alone with my son. Okay. Whoever you're living with, whoever is part of your family, okay, get started on getting to know them again. This is a perfect time. COVID-19, it's an absolute travesty. So many people are being hurt, are being left completely stranded. But the one thing it is doing is it is slowing society down. Now, you've got to brace yourself for the long haul. You're going to be stuck in the house for a while. I cannot encourage you enough to follow the guidelines that your local government is giving you. You may not like them. You may find them annoying. You may come up with all sorts of neat little ideas as to what's wrong with what they're doing, but think of this. If you work together, okay, karmic law, do unto others as you desire them to do unto you. If you work together, get to know the people in your own household, okay, get moving on the communication side. Talk about the things you would like to do, the things you feel that you haven't gotten good at. You never know. Maybe your child will be able to show you something that you've forgotten. This is an opportunity for you if you're the parent of a younger child, okay, one that's supposed to be in elementary school, and all of a sudden you find yourself at home. What better way to get to know where they are than to go through the schoolwork with them? Now, or for that matter, like in my case, I got a 15-year-old. Going through his schoolwork with him enables me to refresh my memory on some of the stuff that I probably forgot I knew. Okay, and at the time you were in school, maybe it wasn't great. Maybe you weren't happy with what you were learning. But this is your opportunity to really get to know what's going on, to really connect with with that special someone in your house. Okay. Now, there's a lot more around communication, but we're going to leave this one here, and we're going to go and do another video. And again, like I mentioned, yes, I'm in the same shirt it was last time. That's because I really don't know how many I'm going to do tonight, but I'm doing a bunch of videos all in one shot, simply because I've got the time, and well, it would seem I'm in the mood to talk, so you get to suffer. That said, until we talk again, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.